I was so proud of my beautiful car, a 200 SX Turbo, but it developed a problem, a terrible ticking noise. When I got on the gas hard, it would go only much louder. I took it to a mechanic and he said, "Lady, it's your turbo." Now, I didn't know anything about working on cars. I didn't come from a culture that did that, but I had read about turbos. They spin at 100,000 revolutions per minute. How could that make a sound like that? So I asked the mechanic, and he said, "Lady, it's your turbo." I was pretty sure he was lying to me, but what could I do? You had to have a lot of experience and special training and special tools to work on cars. So I let him talk me into a new turbo. And when it was all over, the noise was still there. I had been right all along. Somehow, that didn't make me feel any better. How did I feel? I felt helpless. I was afraid to work on my own car, and I hate feeling helpless. But how do you even get started learning to work on something as complicated and scary and big and dirty as a car? Now, I wish that I was like Kaylee from Firefly. She's the ship's mechanic, and she knows everything about that ship's engine. If it breaks, even in the middle of outer space where there are no parts stores, she can always fix it. Kaylee wouldn't get lied to by some scummy mechanic. She has control over her life. Kaylee understands the machines. But how could I get like that? How could I become like that? How could I get started? Well, let me tell you another story. I have a friend named Kathy. She had a neighbor come over to ask her to install Ubuntu, a type of Linux, on her computer. He said, "I'm not good with computers. I don't know anything about them. I could never install something." Her 5-year-old daughter, Anna, said, "Mom, I bet I could install Ubuntu on the computer. Can I, huh? Can I try?" Well, she couldn't read because she was only 5, but she called her brother over whenever there was text on the screen, and they would hit return usually. And in 20 minutes, they got Ubuntu installed. And Anna said, "Easy Bikisi, that old fogey is just being silly. I can install Ubuntu, so he can too." Somersaults were involved. The key here is that Anna wasn't afraid to try something new. She didn't find it too scary. Getting back to my car problems. Books in the library were mostly no help, but I finally found a good book, and it started with simple things like how to do an oil change, which I had never done. So I bought a wrench, and I lay down in the dirt, and I slid under the car, and I got the wrench on, and it slipped off. And I got it on again, and it slipped off again, and it was rounding off the bolt, and oh no, my beautiful car would be ruined, and no one would be able to get the bolt off. So the book didn't say what to do when that happened. So I drove to the local gas station, and I threw myself on their mercy, and I said I would be happy to pay the price of an oil change if they'd just tell me how to get that darn bolt loose. And they were so nice to me. They took one look at my wrench, and they told me to throw it away and get a 14mm box end wrench, and they wouldn't even take my money. And back at home with my new 14mm wrench, I got the drain plug off. I changed the filter and the oil and closed up, but my hands were shaking as I started the engine because I knew all the oil was going to fall out all over the driveway and my engine would be ruined forever. But it was fine. It worked. I had done my own oil change. I was on my way. A while later, I got into car racing, and a lot of the people in racing are mechanics, and they helped me learn more. It turned out that original noise was called an exhaust leak, and with a friend's help, I fixed it. For real. And I eventually bought another car, a decrepit old Fiat, and you've probably heard what Fiat stands for, and it's true, but it was a good thing. I learned how to rejet a carburetor, replace an alternator, do my own alignments. I wasn't helpless anymore. I was becoming Kaylee. Now, manufacturers today want you to think that hardware is a black box, that you shouldn't work on it. If it breaks, you should throw it away or you should pay somebody a lot of money. But the maker movement is changing that. People are teaching each other how to make things, how to fix things. There are maker spaces like this one and Hackfest where people teach each other new skills. So if you want to try replacing that iPad battery or fix your car or your sink, knit a sweater, make new kitchen cabinets, go ahead and try it. Don't be afraid of trying new things, even if it's big and dirty and scary like a car or closed and mysterious like an iPad. We can all be Kaylee. We just have to get over being afraid. Remember, 5-year-old Anna. Easy peasy.
Awesome.